progress.
Wow, look at all these wonderful people joining us tonight. Welcome, everyone. We'll wait a couple of minutes while we wait for people to jump in. If you wouldn't mind muting, please, that would be great.
There's Oscar. Hi, Oscar.
Hi, Carolyn.
Beautiful.
Look at all those, oh, look at faces. Hey, guys.
Happy Easter, everyone. It's going to be a cracker. Okay, so let me have a look. So welcome to our Team Leader Easter Treats class. We're very, very excited to present this to you tonight. Excuse my background there. I won't be cooking on this screen, but I've got some tomatoes and things making some sauce, so that's real life. Okay, so our aim today is to show you Easter delicious recipes that you can use over your Easter holidays. So we've got a bit of chocolate, a bit of healthy, a bit of naughty, and we hope we give you some inspiration to try some different dishes. Okay, so I'd love to know what your favourite dish is. Can you pop that in the chat for me? What's one of your family favourites at Easter? And also, do you have a family tradition? So do you go camping? Do you have the weekend in the city? Those sorts of things. And I'd love to know what Thermomix you have, or if you don't have yet, what you would like. Okay, so we've got hot cross buns. More hot cross buns, the team. Awesome. Wait for it to catch up.
Do you want to pin us all as leaders? So we've got a view like that, or do you want to go from person to person?
Go person to person as we go through. Okay, so we'll go wait for the chat to catch up. So all our team leaders here are from Vic West, and we're going to introduce ourselves a little bit as we begin cooking tonight, save a little bit of time. So I'm going to start with the wonderful Sarah. Hi, Sarah, how are you going?
Good. How are you guys?
We're great. Where are you from, Says?
So I'm originally from Maryborough, so in regional Vic, and I've made the move down to Melbourne, living in the city and working down here as a school teacher. Loving it down in Melbourne, not for much longer though. I'll be heading back to Maryborough quite soon. So yeah.
Good. What are you making for us today?
Tonight I'm going to be making the brioche hot cross buns. And I'm going to be using chocolate instead of sultanas because I'm a bit of a chocolate person and I prefer them over the fruit. And yeah, we're going to cook them.
Awesome.
All right, do you want to get started?
Absolutely, go for it.
So we're cooking. Can you see my other screen? Is that pinned?
I've pinned them both, though.
Oh, okay. I can't see the pinned post. Just give me a sec. I've pinned you, Trace. Sorry, guys. All right. So today we're going to make the brioche hot cross buns from the Hot Cross Buns cookbook. There are a few different options within that cookbook. The jalapeno ones are next on my list because I'm a really big jalapeno fan. But these really appeal to me because they're nice and sweet and I'm a bit of a chocolate fan. So let's get started. The first step is for us to grease a large bowl and line a baking tray. I don't actually line a baking tray. I like to be quite sustainable and I don't like to use baking paper. So I actually use the silicone mats from the mix shop and then I just give them a wash afterwards, making it nice and sustainable. So I've already got that ready to go. And then the next step is for us to place the mixing bowl in and weigh in some unsalted butter, which I have already done. Yeah. Moving on to the next step. First thing we're going to do is add some milk, so 200 grams of milk. I like to go with the lactose-free option, so that works as well. So popping 200 grams of milk in. What I love about the Thermomix is that you don't have to convert your mils and grams. 200 grams of milk is actually 200 mils of milk.
That makes it so much easier, doesn't it?
Oh, doesn't it ever?
Yeah.
The next step we're going to do is popping in 50 grams of sugar into the bowl. I love how it just has the scales up, ready to go. For those that don't have a Thermomix, you don't need to jump back and forth. As the scales ready to go. The next step, putting in 2.5 teaspoons of dried instant yeast. And then popping the lid. This is automatically set, so it's going to cook for 2 minutes, 37 degrees, and on speed 2, automatically set for us here.
So that's actually activating the yeast and warming up the milk and stuff?
Yeah, so that's actually going to warm it all up, get the yeast activated, ready for the dough when I transfer the dough in there. Yeah.
Great. Sarah, how long have you been a consultant?
So I've been a consultant, when did I come on? I came on in October 2020, so it was mid-pandemic. I had just moved down to Melbourne, into the city, and I'm used to having a big house, lots of people around me, and I was stuck in an apartment, just me and my partner. My partner wasn't working, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I actually going to do if we're in lockdown for much longer? And this is when the curfews were on, so I thought, right, I want a Thermomix. I've been eyeing them off for quite some time. It'll give me something to do. And I was going to buy one outright. But then I talked to my team leader, or the team leader at the time that was in the Maryborough area, Sam Lean. And she offered me the earn, coming on and earning my own Thermomix for free with 6 sales. And I thought, oh, great, that'll give me something to focus on while I'm in lockdown. So I came on board. And within 60 days, I sold my 6 and I got my brand new Thermo TM6 on my bench, which I was super happy about. And initially, I thought I was just going to come on and earn my Thermomix, maybe make a few sales and then leave, because I'm a school teacher. I have lots on my plate already with remote learning and now back and forth into remote learning, back into school. So I didn't think that it would be for me. I thought it might be a little bit too much on my plate. But then after I started selling them, I thought, oh, this is pretty good. I'm saving for a house. It's hard saving for a house while living in Melbourne. This extra income is really great. Nathan's not working at the moment. This is awesome, having a little bit of extra money to play with. So I decided to stay on. And then I stayed on for quite some time, and then I got offered a team leader role. So here I am in my own team at the moment. I started as a team leader in December. I've got 2 people in my team at the moment, and potentially another person coming on at the end of April. So yeah, growing team full of millennials, all of us pretty much with the same goal, all trying to save for a house. So yeah, it's a nice little community that we have here, and I'm loving it. So yeah, that's my little journey.
That's a great story. I love that. I love it. And I hope you get your home very, very soon.
Hopefully. It's looking like it might be sooner than we thought, which is nice.
Oh, fantastic.
So we're on to the next step now.
We can see in the bowl how that's all mixed together nicely there, Sarah.
Oh, you can see that?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, awesome. So it's all mixed in. I must have poured the yeast on top of the blades, a little bit onto the blades. So I've just moved that in a little bit. So now I'm just going to add 2 eggs. So adding 2 eggs in. Like that. Pressing next. And adding in some baker's flour, something that I've already prepared. Go. Oh, and did you see there that it was 521? I don't really go right to the exact measurement. Sometimes you can go a little bit over, and the Thermomix always works out. So
Good,
a little
isn't
bit
it?
over doesn't really matter, does it?
No.
All right, so adding in a little bit of cinnamon. I love these little spice jars that I have here. They're from the mix shop as well, and I love the little labels. They look so good in my pantry, all up behind the door. So putting in 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and 1/2 teaspoon of ground cloves. Now today I got home from school, had a big day at school, and I've got home, thought I had all of the ingredients, and I actually had whole cloves. I'm like, oh, can't really be bothered going to the supermarket. So what I quickly did was I actually milled my cloves down into to make it ground. So the Thermomix is awesome in that regard, that you can, you know, mill down nuts into almond meal or pistachio, macadamia nuts, and even cloves, which is awesome. Never would I have
Save
thought
so
that
much
I would
money.
be, exactly, never would I have thought that I would have that function to be able to do that. And then the next step, just putting in a teaspoon of sea salt.
I'd love to know who's made the crossbars buns before.
Yeah, absolutely. The brioche ones or some other ones with their Thermomix. If anyone's made the jalapeno ones, I would love to hear how they went, because that's next on my list. All right, so now what's going to happen is we're going to mix that 20 seconds on speed 3, again, automatically set. Did that come through, or can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Yep. Did that come through into the chat? Has anyone made the hot cross bun before?
Carolyn's made the regular on the weekend and loved them. Michelle's made them, but they're a bit like a rock. So what would you suggest there?
So I think, well, this is the first time I've made hot cross buns too, but I would think maybe letting them proof for a little bit longer,
yeah.
Would you suggest? Maybe, leaving them out for a little bit longer so they can rise a bit more, and expand.
And put them in the warm place.
Yeah,
Your Veroma's a great place. You can put it on steam or sit it over the top of a thermo server.
I've actually, it's funny. So when I made bread, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I actually put it in the car to get it to rise really quickly because it's quite hot. So, so the next step is for us to put it on for 5 minutes to knead, and that kneading function is one of the functions of the TM6 inbuilt there. So I'm about to put it on for 5 minutes. Trace, did you want to hand over now while I press on to knead?
We'll head over to Kelly and you can knead that dough. Thank you, Sarah. Here we go. Here's Cal. You're on mute, sweetheart.
Yeah, I was just trying to unmute myself and I realised someone's trying to jump in. They're still jumping on, Trace.
Yeah, they are. It's great.
Okay, I get the best dish, I think. I love hot cross buns, but I get self-sourcing chocolate pudding, and I think hands down, that is a winner. It's always a winner in our house. I would love to know, obviously, what chocolatey desserts you guys like to make at Easter, so if you want to put that in the chat. Now, I think a lot of you guys probably already know who I am, but I'm Senior Team Leader Kelly. I feel like I've been around forever, but I think it's been 7 years, Trace.
Yep.
I reckon we've been around about the same amount of time. So.
I've been 6.
You've been 6, am I a year ahead? I'm a year ahead of myself. So I absolutely love to work for Thermomix, although, it's not quite like any job I've ever had. And I'm lucky enough to have an awesome team down Waterville Way. So a bit about me. Now, so for this recipe to work well, you do need a baking dish. If you can just give it a light grease, fantastic. Really important that it doesn't have a lid on it or you won't get a nice crust on it. So we've just got an easy baking dish, it does say 18 centimetres by 6 centimetres, but up to 20 centimetres. You don't want to go too big because if you do, you'll end up with it too much of a pancake-like consistency. So nice tight baking dish. We're going to preheat our oven to 170, which I have done. Now we are going to, this is awesome, make some almond meal to thicken up the actual recipe. So I'd love to also know who's made some almond meal. This only takes a few seconds too. Because I probably won't hear you when it makes the almond meal. You have a couple of seconds where I'll be completely deaf.
I did the chicken Kievs tonight, and they have an almond coating, almond spice coating, which is similar to the almond meal. So you just mill it down, makes a beautiful coating for chicken or fish.
Oh, you did the LCHF, the Kiev coating.
Oh, absolutely. It's delicious.
How clever is this? So there's nothing else like a Thermomix really. It's almond meal in 10 seconds usually. So you could go further and turn it into a nut butter if you wanted to as well. But instead of using actual butter in this recipe, we use the almond meal, which is lovely. So it's a lot better for you, even though it is very chocolatey. I've got 100 grams of gluten-free flour. You can swap that out for just a good plain flour. So in that goes. And it does want 2 teaspoons of a gluten-free baking powder. So a lot of the baking powders that you buy are gluten-free. But just checking if you do want, obviously, if you're cooking for celiacs, make sure. We've got 30 grams of cocoa powder. Now, this recipe is actually quite a lot of cocoa. 30 grams is quite a bit. It's more of a dark chocolate flavour is how I describe it. Have you made this one before, Trace?
No, but I think I will.
Pinch of salt. I've already added the pinch of salt. 100 grams of soft dark brown sugar. So you want the dark brown. It's because it's got an even richer flavour to it. So like it wasn't rich enough, we want it even richer again. And I'm going to give that a bit of a quick mix in here. Bring it all together.
I grew up on self-saucing pudding. Mum used to make them all the time. They're beautiful.
Sorry, Trace, I missed that.
Just saying, Mum used to make self-saucing pudding all the time.
Yep. And usually you'd use a whisk to whisk all your dry ingredients together so there weren't any lumps. Whereas it's 10 seconds in a Thermomix and you've got the base. Now, if you wanted to, you could pre-make this part and just put your wet ingredients together and then combine the two and into the oven when you felt like it. So that could be something nice. We've got 2 eggs that I almost spilled on my bench earlier. They've just survived me. I'm incredibly clumsy. So we've got 40 grams of full cream milk, and I've added some vanilla essence as well because it's got a teaspoon of vanilla essence in the recipe. And there's probably closer to a tablespoon. I went way overboard with vanilla. I love it though. Okay, so all this needs is 5 seconds. So a very quick blitz there.
I love having those dry mixes pre-done in the pantry. Absolutely.
Yeah. Would absolutely love to know if anyone else pre-makes their like cookie dough mix or their pudding mix. I know that Nick Riddle has a chocolate mug cake that's quite popular at the moment that people pre-do. Okay, we'll give it a bit of a scrape down, just like so. Just make sure all of its deliciousness is in there. You've got a beautiful almondy kind of smell, sort of nutty smell with the chocolate. It reminds me of a healthier version of a brownie, and I do top mine with walnuts when it's cooked. Okay, so with our mix that I've put together, look at that. You need to have a close look. It's all chocolatey and delicious. Look at it.
Oh, yum.
Yum. I know
That's
they
so
say you
quick.
shouldn't eat- I know they say you shouldn't eat cake batter because of raw eggs, but it's very tempting. Now, who has seen that we're doing second bowl blade lids as host rewards? This is the value of a bowl blade lid, because this recipe wants me to scrape this out and then go off and wash my bowl and dry it, and then use it for the next part of the recipe. Whereas with a second bowl, I can be incredibly lazy and I could just throw this bowl into the dishwasher. So how long's that running?
Or efficient, saving time, washing bowls between.
Saving time, yeah. We've got it running for, how many weeks now, Trace? We've only got a few weeks of it, haven't we?
Yeah, it's sort of like the 12th of May or something, middle of May.
So we've got just over a month really to take advantage of that. So if you are after a second bowl as a host reward, make sure you hit up your consultant, because we are always happy to help. Yum. Oh, this looks so good. So you've got its chocolatiness here. And then the next part of the recipe, quite simple stuff. See, it's telling me to clean the bowl. That's not going to happen. Okay. So we've got 100 grams of soft dark brown sugar again. We're still with the dark brown. I've put the cocoa in here too. So this has got 20 grams of cocoa. Then we've got, there we go. Okay. Then we have natural vanilla and a bit of water. So I've just sat them in together. In they go. And we've got some full cream milk. So 150 grams of full cream milk. And instead of like our parents probably did, where you use the boiling water over the back of a spoon.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and you create dints and that in it because the water was so hot, it would actually melt bits of the batter. Instead of that, we are heating this to temperature, already melting the bits in it, so we're not trying to melt the bits of sugar. They'll already be melted into this mix. And I will do that same spoon trick. I'll put a spoon over it and pour it on just slowly and then get it into an oven. So, and at the end, you'll get to see me probably devour half of it.
Yum. Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, Callie. Now we're going to head over to Caroline. How are you going? You're on mute, darling. I can't hear you.
Oh, I said such intelligent things then, so you missed it all. Hi everyone, I'm in Geelong, and I am just getting distracted because it's got the closed captions on my screen and it is saying things really differently to how they're coming out of my mouth. So I think I need to work on my pronunciation. Anyway, with Easter coming, I think everyone, or lots and lots of people traditionally like to cook fish on a Friday, on Good Friday. So I thought I'd choose a dish that was healthy and delicious. So I've chosen the superfood salmon salad, and that's on Cookie Dough. Now, it has quite a few different ingredients in here, which I happen to have most of them on hand anyway, but I have substituted a few of them. So it had our first step, I'll just press start cooking. So it says the tricolour, 100 grams of tricolour quinoa, but I'm not a quinoa fan. I think I overdid it back on one of my health kicks a few years ago. So I actually have chosen to go with just a Mackenzie's mixed grain, but you could use any grain that you wanted to from the supermarket, and just cooking it for 15 minutes. So I've already done that. Now I've just got my old simmering basket here, so you can see what's in there, but I've just already steamed those grains there. So I will then just pop them into my thermo server. Who has a thermo server that they can't stop using? They're so handy.
Oh, yeah. Carolyn, how long did you cook them for?
For 15 minutes. Well, actually, because it was a different grain to what it was, the grains I've used are a little bit chunkier than what the quinoa is. So if you're using quinoa, it was 15 minutes on 100 degrees, and I actually extended it to about 25 minutes, and I did it on Varoma steaming temperature. So transfer it into a large bowl and set it aside, and then clean and dry mixing bowl. But I've got another bowl here, so I'll just get rid of that one.
Here comes that second bowl again.
That's all right.
I'd love to know who has got 2 bowls for their
How good
Thermomix.
is a second bowl? I even love my 3rd and my 4th bowl.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
never get enough.
That's it. Now,
Yeah, Michelle's got one.
it's so you don't know how good they are until you've got one, or until you've got a Thermomix. I think you tell people about the second bowl blade and lid set, and it doesn't mean anything until you've got a Thermomix. Then you understand.
Exactly.
Now-
Oh, we've got heaps. People have got
Almost
2,
as
3.
good as
3
a
bowls.
second Thermomix.
Find another
sometimes.
one.
Now I'm just popping in 3 sprigs of flat leaf
Awesome.
parsley.
He's got 4.
Half a lemon zest, and I'm actually using lime zest because we've got a lime tree. And inserting the measuring cup, and just give it a quick blitz on speed mode for 10 seconds. It's asking me to scrape down the sides of the mixing bowl. And it's chopped up nice and finely. I'm going to give it another little go. Imagine how many fingernails I would be chopping if I was doing it by hand.
Absolutely. Make sure that you reach out to your consultant to book in a demonstration. I call them cook-ups because we just have fun and eat. And if you don't have a consultant at the moment, please pop it in the chat and we can assign you one.
Now it's just asking me to tip it out into a separate bowl. And then I'm going to pop in a garlic clove. And a half of a long red chili, one of those long ones from the fruit shop. And if you want it to be a little less spicy, just take the seeds out.
Yep. Good idea.
And we're just chopping that on speed 7 for 3 seconds. And I'll just give it another scrape down. I've had a busy day, Tracy. I've been on the road up to the Thermomix head office in Glen Iris.
Awesome. What'd you do up there?
Oh my goodness, that is quite spicy, those chilies, even though I've taken the seeds out. Hang on, I'll just add some olive oil first. So 30 grams of olive oil.
I love how you can change the recipes. If you like the spice, keep the seeds.
That is it. So it's just cooking it on varoma temperature for 2 minutes. What was I doing in Glen Iris? Well, we had a team leader connection day, and I know that most of you girls were able to jump onto Zoom and do it because you're a bit further away. But I was able to go down up to Melbourne to the head office, so it was great, and meeting the other team leaders from around Victoria, and they had little treats for us and lots of learning. But anyway, I was going to say, you know, no matter how busy your day has been, at least I know when I turn on my Thermomix and cook something, it'll work. I don't have to use my brain so much.
Yeah.
Because I've had a big day, so it wasn't too overwhelming having to do the class tonight, because I know it's telling me every step of the way.
It's probably one of the silent, thankful gratefulness we love about our Thermomix. Those nights where your brain's full, you've had a busy day, you can just hit next.
Yes, yep. Did I miss that last step? You know, did I do it twice? No second guessing yourself. No, it's starting to smell good here.
Oh, that's awesome. This recipe is full of absolute superfoods, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Every single thing in here is amazing. And I have substituted a few things because I am not a quinoa fan, I'm not a kale fan. So I have substituted those 2 things out. And I think there's probably a few people who would join me in saying that. Now, I was just looking up it's from a little collection called Whole Food Cooking. It's an Australian collection on Cookie Do of just 10 recipes. So there's some really beautiful recipes on there, actually, that I would probably love all of them. Pearl barley risotto, raw chocolate. So if anyone has ever made their own chocolate or would like to make their own chocolate, this one is a beautiful recipe. And it's just on cookie dough, so in the same collection as this. So you can hear it sizzling away there. Now I'm going to just transfer it into the bowl with the lemon and parsley. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, beautiful. Did you sub out the kale for spinach?
Rocket actually is what I had.
Rocket, yeah. Either or would be great.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. Yeah, I'd probably be happy with either of them. Anything but kale, to be honest. Right, so without rinsing the mixing bowl, just getting me to place 1,000 grams of water in here. And we're going to use the Varoma. So who doesn't use their Varoma? Who needs confidence using their Varoma? Or who forgot that their Thermomix comes with a Varoma?
I use mine all the time.
So do I. Love it. Now, I have just placed 2 salmon fillets in there. And so asking me to put 600 grams of fresh skinless. There you go. I didn't read that properly. It's got skin on it. That's okay. And cover the fillets with the with this mixture with the chili and garlic. And
so that's the dressing marinade we made at the beginning. You're now pouring over the salmon.
Yep.
Beautiful.
So it's going to give it a beautiful flavour. And then I've popped the lid on, and I'm just going to steam that for 14 minutes.
Oh,
So
thanks, Kaz. That just sounds delicious.
Oh, yeah.
Lou on the chat says she's had a Thermomix for a month and she's loving her Varoma. So that's absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you very much. Now, Callie, you've got something a bit different for us as well.
Yes, yeah, a new Easter favourite. So I'm balancing out all of the chocolate and the other things that are going to happen with a soup. So it's carrot and coriander soup. I think that the Thermomix makes incredible soup, and this one is just, it's so quick as well. So I'd love it if people could type into the chat, what's your favourite soup? I love to ask this question of customers especially, so I can get new ideas, because during the colder months, we tend to eat soup at least once a week. So what have we got in the chat, Kate?
Oh, I just put mine in there. Hug in a mug.
Oh, I love hug in a mug. I think it's a
zucchini soup. Definitely not carrots and soup.
Oh, because it's coriander.
Yeah. Leg potato and bacon, zucchini, cauliflower. Cauliflower soup's beautiful.
Fun fact, you can swap this out. If you don't like carrot, you can swap it for sweet potato, and you can omit the coriander, and if you wanted to, you could even add a little bit of basil or thyme instead.
Yeah,
there you go.
We've got lots of people adding some curry, just to some normal recipes. Tuscan bean soup. Ooh, Liz says anything but hug in a mug.
Anything but hug in a mug. Oh,
take the mushroom out.
Yeah, I add corn. Everything needs corn.
Yeah.
Okay, so this soup is a yummy one because it's only a few ingredients. Most of it you should have in the pantry. Today I'm going to use chicken stock paste that I make and keep in my freezer. So hoping that everyone out there does make stock paste in their Thermomix. This recipe gives you the option of either a crumbled stock cube, and I'm like, well, no, or using homemade stock paste. So I'd love it if you can type in the chat. Are you still making stock paste with your Thermi? I hope that you are. There's chicken, there's beef, there's vegetable stock paste. I tend to make mine low sodium as well, and then just keep it in the freezer. Okay, so this uses red lentils as well to thicken it. So we've got 30 grams of some split red lentils. It is very much vegetarian, this soup, but I'm adding the chicken stock paste because I like the chicken flavour. You could even make this soup vegan if you wanted to as well. So that's something to think of. Are they making stock paste, Trace?
Absolutely. They
Excellent.
always do.
That's what I'm liking to hear. Okay, so we've got the lentils in there. Now for a bit of a zing to it, we've got lemon zest in this recipe. So up to you if you want to add it. I tend to add just a tiny bit of it, so it's got just a little bit of zing. So a bit of lemon zest with your lentils and some ginger. Now, annoyingly, my ginger had decided to die and go mouldy in my cupboard, sadly, because I hadn't used it. So I've got just a little bit of powdered ginger. You could use ground ginger in a jar as well. Really, you just want that kind of zing of ginger with the lemon against the carrot. If you didn't like lemon and ginger, you can swap it out and just do it as a curry carrot soup. So a good teaspoon of curry in there instead. There's nothing you can't swap when you're cooking with the Thermomix, is there? So we've just got 10 seconds. It's going to mill on speed 10. In this time, Trace, you may want to chat to them because I will not be able to hear you. So just give me a 10 seconds.
That's all right. Sharon's great tip, put your fresh ginger in the freezer, which is awesome. Slice it up before you freeze it as well. There you go, Cal. Pop your ginger in the freezer.
I honestly should have, and I forgot it was there because it was under the garlic. We use a lot of garlic cloves, but I hadn't used up this little knob of ginger, and the poor thing had withered and died on me.
And you know what? It's okay to use what you have. You know, if you've got dried stuff, that's perfectly fine.
Okay, look at that. Nice and
Oh,
mellow.
yum.
So this takes out the fuss of thinking, oh, I forgot to soak my lentils, or I don't have fresh canned lentils, because it means we're just milling it and creating a base for the soup. Okay, so we're going to give it a scrape down and then give it its final mill so we don't get any bits in there. I don't know why we're scraping it down, really. It's pretty much there. So just give it a final mill.
Love that. The kids would never know the lentils are in there. Another thing I use lentils for, Kelly, is I throw them in my spaghetti bolognese. It bulks out the mincemeat and it just looks like mincemeat.
Oh, yes, the veggie mince that I make. I do 50% veggie mince to 50% meat these days because of the price of meat. Yep. And I've noticed that a lot of people are doing it too. So
you have to. You let it stretch.
Oh, you have to, really, and it gets the kids eating veggies too. So now we've got that nicely milled. We have our carrots in here, and we've also got some onion in there too. Okay, so 50 grams of onion with 300 grams of carrots. Aren't they cute? The thermo service, the mini, this is the medium one. So absolutely love those. Now we've got 50 grams unsalted butter, diced. In it goes. So that's really your main fat content is just a tiny bit of butter in there. And then we're going to give this a bit of a blitz. So only 4 seconds though, just to speed up the chopping and cooking process. I like to choose the noisy recipes.
It's not noisy here.
No, it'll just cut me out.
Right.
So lucky. Maybe next time I'll choose grinding chickpeas or something like that. Okay, now you see it's up. There we go. It's chopped it up quite nicely. This will speed up our cooking process a lot. So it's already chopped. We add in our bit of stock paste that you guys are all making at home, which is fantastic. Bit of water. So 500 grams of water. You need the moisture or it will be a paste, not a soup. Okay.
I'm definitely going to try this without the coriander.
You can, because it's just something you can keep out of it.
You could do a mixed Italian herb. That would be nice.
Yeah, that's why I say basil. Basil's nice with everything, and it's in season still. A little bit of pepper in there. In that goes. And basically lid on, it'll cook for 15, and then we can mix through some milk and coriander. So it's not until it's basically done you even have to add coriander to it. So you could easily split it for someone who loves coriander and someone who hates it.
Oh,
Okay.
that's a great tip. Absolutely.
So,
Thanks, Cal. So that's going to cook away.
yeah.
So while you're doing that, we're going to head over to Sarah, and she's going to tell us how you're going with the buns. You're on mute, darling.
Even after 2 years of remote learning, I still keep myself on mute. So can you see my other screen as well?
I'm just going to pin it, but it's got no camera on it.
Okay. Let me just fiddle with that. How about now?
Yep, move your fingers.
Got it? All right, there we go. Got it. All right, so I've just taken my dough out of my bowl, popped it on my thermomat and just let it sit there for a little bit while Caroline and Callie were cooking. While I was doing the kneading, I was slowly adding in the butter, the unsalted butter, just really slow into it so that it kneaded through nice and smoothly. So that's been sitting here for quite some time, taking it out of the bowl. What I'm actually going to do, save me washing this, I'm actually going to clean it in my Thermomix. So I'm going to quickly put some water in it.
Pre-clean function. Who uses that function on their Thermomix? I absolutely love it.
Oh, it's such a lifesaver, especially between meals as well. You can just chuck it on and be doing something else, and you know that the bowl's going to be clean in a few minutes' time. So I've put in some water in there, and I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of dishwashing liquid. If I want to give it a really good clean, sometimes I put some eggshells in there as well, maybe some vinegar, and it makes it nice and sparkling clean. So I'm just going to pop that on, and there's a few different settings. There's the dough setting, universal, fat and caramel, and then the browning. Because we've only made dough today, I'm just going to put it onto the dough setting to pre-clean.
Now, TM5 owners, if you have a cook key, you do have pre-clean mode because it's upgraded. So if you don't have a cook key, reach out to your consultant and get one ordered, because a lot of the upgrades will come through that. So Sarah, what do you got? You got your dough there.
I've got my dough there. So I've just flattened it out, and I put it on my thermomats just with some flour. Now the next step is for me to weigh 250 grams of sultanas. Now, like I said earlier, I'm actually not going to use sultanas today. I'm actually going to use some milk chocolate, because I like the milk chocolate better. So I'm going to press it down to flatten, and then I'm going to sprinkle the chocolate through the dough. I've actually got a mix today of milk chocolate and also dark chocolate. See how that goes. Yeah. And I'm just going to mix it through, and then I'm going to flatten it out again.
So you've really just sort of put that through the middle and you're mixing it as you're going.
Yeah, just flatten it out, and then I'm going to put a little bit more in, just so it's evenly distributed throughout the dough. That's
great. And you could use
what
whatever you want.
What do you guys prefer? Do you guys prefer the choc chips, or do you prefer the sultanas, or fruitless, the plain Jane?
Orange peel, candied orange peel or something.
I've never had orange peel before. Yum. How's that?
Yum.
Yum. All right, so the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it up. It's telling me to put it into the silicone wrap and just leave it to proof for 1 hour and 30 minutes. But because we don't have that, I'm just going to cut them up into 12ths. So just flattening it like that. Using my bowl scraper, I'm just going to cut it into thirds. And then in 4 what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to roll them into some.
I'm just going to make that bigger so we can see it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Can you see that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm actually just going to roll them into some bowls, and I'm going to place them to proof onto my oven mat here.
So it looks like you've got markings on that liner. Is that something from the mix shop as well?
That is from the mix shop. So they are the silicone baking liners. So I absolutely love them because I don't have to use my baking paper. Really good for cookies and different other little things that you can put in the oven. What do you use yours for, Trace?
Yeah, I've got one sitting here for me to do next. They're great.
They are so good. Lifesaver. Even like the big thermomat as well. I don't know. I've put before I had these ones, I put my other smaller one in the oven as well. So you can actually get them as a host reward for having a cooking experience, the thermomats. They come in a duo pack, which is awesome. So you could get your hands on one for free.
Absolutely. Also, Kathy mentioned that they're great for rolling the cookie dough in between the cuttings.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and covering over your bread so it doesn't dry out. You can put another one over the top.
Yeah, absolutely. I always put it in when I'm making a nice sourdough. All right, so I'm just going to sit them there like that to proof. And in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to preheat the oven to 200 degrees, which I've done. And the next step is for me to make the piping icing. So this one's a really easy quick step. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a bowl on top of my Thermomix lid and click the tear button. Next step says for us to put in 400 grams of plain flour just into a bowl of your choice. Bring that in. And then also putting in 50 grams of water.
That's pretty simple.
Very simple step. All right, then the next step is to put in a little bit of olive oil.
Now, the olive oil is really important. So if you...
Can you tell me why? I didn't actually know that.
Leave out the olive oil, the mixture will
yeah.
just sink into your dough.
Oh, okay. So the olive oil is a really important step.
Yep.
Yeah. Just mixing that through. And it's going to form a nice little paste that's going to go into the piping bags. Can you see that there? Yeah, just forming into a nice paste. A nice mix through. And something that I prepared earlier is just one of our piping bags from the mix shop, popping it into a cup. The first time I used the piping bags, it was disastrous. I didn't put it into a cup and it was pouring out everywhere, all over my bench. So I was glad that I put the cup in.
You live and learn pretty quick.
You do. It was actually my little cousin, who I think is about 12. She was the one that told me to put it into a cup. Couldn't believe it.
I'm going to make this bigger so we can see it.
Awesome. All right. So the next step is for me just to pipe.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, you got that?
I've lost you. Your screen's gone black where your hot cross buns are.
Oh, it's gone black again. So
I'm just going to recap. Sarah's made the mixture for the crosses, and now we've put them in a piping bag, and she's going to show us how to actually add them to our dough.
Yep. So I've put it into the piping bag, and now I'm just going to run them across really nicely, like so. It's making some really funny noises here.
Bit of air in there.
Bit of air, yep. Bit of gas.
They look great.
Like so,
I was so
and then
nervous the
I'm
first
just going
time I
to
made
go.
them.
You were?
Yeah,
Me too. This is the first time I'm making them, so I'm a bit nervous here.
you're doing a great job.
And then just crossing them over. Oops. It's going into the dough here. Whoop. These are going to be delicious on the teacher's table tomorrow whilst we're doing planning day.
Absolutely, you'll be their favourite.
All right, like so. And now we're just going to let them proof for a little bit longer.
Awesome.
Might not just put them into the oven just yet. I might put them in about 10, 15 minutes time. And then we can see the finished product at the end.
Fantastic. Well, guess what? I'm up. I'm next. So I'll just remove Sarah. Now, as you can see on my screen, I'm sitting a little bit low because I'm actually in a wheelchair and I've broken my leg. Can everyone see me okay? Yep, give me a thumbs up.
Yep, we can see you, Trace.
Beautiful. Okay, I'm just going to bring that in nice and close. So I'm going to be making the carrot cake, which is absolutely amazing, but I'm going to be making it in cookies, carrot cake cookies, which is something I would never have thought of doing at all. Okay, so here we go. I've popped it in my meal plan for today. Carrot cake cookies. Pleasantly surprised when I looked at this recipe. So it's got some really basic ingredients. So first thing it's asking me to do is preheat my oven, which I've done. It's now asking me to line a baking tray, which I've done here. So once again, I use the liners, which is great. Saves on, baking paper wastage. It's asking for 150 grams of carrot. So I'm just going to tear that back. Now, I haven't peeled these, and I've just left them in big chunks. I'm just going to pour them in. It's 200, but who cares? Bit extra doesn't matter. Insert measuring cup and hit next. 6 seconds, speed 4. Okay, let's have a look. They're not very chunky, they're not very grated. So I'm going to do them again because it will depend on the size that you cut the pieces, the thickness of the carrot. Now, I think they're having trouble seeing my screen.
I think the second time we'll probably definitely do it. We can see you front on, Trace. We haven't got a second screen. We've just got your screen making the cookies. So all good. We can see you.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that one's done really well. I'm really happy with
perfect.
that.
Yep.
We'll hit next. Scrape down the sides. We'll go one leg. Here we go.
So this is proof that even with one leg, you can cook with the Thermomix.
Yes, it's been my saving grace, believe it or not. Now, it's asking me for 100 grams of wholemeal flour. So I'm just using plain gluten-free here today. So once again, you can change whatever you like. And what I found is the Aldi gluten-free flour, you don't actually need to add anything else to it. It's pretty much a one-for-one swap. Okay, 90 grams of oats. So these are just your standard, you know, rolled oats, which are awesome. 100 grams of golden syrup. Now, I made my own. How simple is this? Cost me probably 25 cents. So if you haven't made golden syrup, jump into Cookie Do and make it. It'll save you a lot of money. And I'll also talk about my chicken stock, which I made the other day. It's asking for 30 grams of coconut oil. So it's really good. I've melted down this coconut oil because it tends to harden. So I'm just pouring that in, 30 grams. You could use a liquid oil if you wanted to. And 25 grams of coconut. It's all very basic pantry staples. 50 grams of sultanas. Of course, it's Easter. We need sultanas in our life. You could put chopped chips in it, Sarah.
I'd definitely be putting chopped chips in it.
Yeah. 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. It's going to give it a little bit of rise for us. And 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. Now, once again, you could add different spices, add more, whatever you like. It would work just as well. Just forgot the salt. And some salt. Okay, hit next. It wants 1 large egg. Just excuse me for 1 second. You talk about the eggs for me, Kathy. I just forgot the egg. Don't ask me how I broke my leg. But we're on the mend, so we're all happy. Dates, definitely. You could definitely use dates. Okay, 1 large egg. And that was fresh from the farm, which is, I thank my sister for that. Insert measuring cup. And we're just going to turn this speed 4 for 8 seconds. Okay, we're going to hit next. Now, it's asking us to place some heaped teaspoons on a baking mat. So how I do that, basically grab 2 tablespoons. There's our mixture. You can see that okay? Yep. So I take about that much and I just scoop it straight onto the plate, the liner. And you want to leave about 2 or 3 centimetres because they are going to rise, even though they've got plain flour. We want them to, they're going to rise a little bit with the baking powder. So I'm going to continue putting those on my tray. Once again, I've used the tray liner, which are absolutely fantastic. And these are going to cook for about 15 minutes. And I'll come back and I'll show you the end product in a little while. So, tell me if you've tried these carrot cake cookies. The carrot cake bliss balls are absolutely fantastic. Yeah, fantastic. I make them often. And also, if you love carrot cake, there's a great one in the UK collection. It's the bomb. Okay, Cal, you're up.
think
No, I think it's me. It's me.
It's
Isn't it?
Carolyn.
Yep.
You can find it.
Yep, I'm here. Okay, so I've cooked my salmon. I've broken it up with a fork and I've just popped it in with my grains here. So it's looking beautiful. Now, next it's asked me for a clean bowl, which I did happen to have. And I'm going to place a red capsicum in there. These are very expensive at the moment. So I hope it's delicious. Half a red onion. A Lebanese cucumber cut into quarters, and I don't think I've ever paid $10 a kilo for Lebanese cucumbers before, but I did. 100 grams of feta cheese. So I just used the Dodoni feta. 3 sprigs of fresh basil, straight from the garden, and a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. A tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. I'll just weigh that in. So I just go to my 3 little dots next to the next button and bring up my scales, and I weigh in between 15 and 20 grams. 30 grams of olive oil. And a bit more parsley. Half a teaspoon of sea salt. And a little bit of black pepper, a couple of pinches of black pepper. And we're popping and I just need my measuring cup. I've got one. So I'll just use my spatula. And 5 seconds on speed 4. Smells good. Look at this. That has chopped that up so beautifully.
Oh, yum.
Now it's asking me for 300 grams of vine ripened tomatoes cut into 2 centimetre pieces. And I'm just using little cherry tomatoes. An avocado, flesh only, thinly sliced, and I'm not doing the avocado. And some chives. I haven't got any chives, and just popping that lid back on.
I love that, changing whatever you like. Because
Yeah.
without the avocado, this could be pre-made.
Absolutely, and because I'll be having it for lunch for the next few days, so I'll just add the avocado as I want it. And so it's just mixing it now for 10 seconds, speed 2, reverse. And asking me to place the kale when you're doing the rocket. So I'll just move this out of the way. Pop the most over here. So placing the kale on my rocket, or whatever green you want, into the large mixed serving bowl with the quinoa and salmon, and then add the chopped salad mixture. And you can come back to me in a minute if you want to. Has anyone else got anything to do?
Yeah, so you're just mixing that through, yeah?
Yeah, I'm just mixing it all in.
Beautiful. We might come back at the end and check on how
Yeah,
you're going with the
actually,
salmon.
all I have to do now is sprinkle some pepitas and dried cranberries on there. So yeah, come back to me in a minute. All
Beautiful.
done.
Thanks, Kaz. And we're up for Kelly. Sorry, guys, I missed the small type.
All good. All good. You want to pin me if you could, Trace?
You are.
You want to pin me?
Hang on,
You
I'll
are.
work it out.
Oh, I don't know why I'm just not showing on mine. Oh well. My internet's probably feeling a little bit slow at the moment, so it's probably having a few issues. Okay. Well, if everyone can see me, I have just added, I've continued on with the soup, and I just added in a little bit of milk and the coriander, the dreaded herb itself. I've added the coriander, and I've given it a puree. Now, hopefully everyone out there with the Thermomix knows what safe pureeing is. generally every recipe that you get on Cookadoo that goes step by step, of course, will guide you through it. But if you're making your own recipes and you want to create a puree, as a general rule, it starts at speed 5 and gradually up to speed 9 or 10. So you're thinking more like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, that kind of thing. Don't go from 0 to 10. And also usually about a minute to puree just about anything into super smooth. So we've got the most amazingly coloured soup here. Look at that.
Oh, yum. Look at liquid gold.
It is, and it's nice and thick because of the lentils that are in there.
You wouldn't even know they're in it.
Well, you wouldn't. I guess a lot like my pumpkin soup that I make, the orange soup that's got sweet potato, carrot, and pumpkin and all sorts of things in it that kids have no idea. This one you can easily puree in all sorts of things. So it looks just absolutely gorgeous, and it smells amazing too. So you've got a slight gingery spice smell to it. And what it recommends is serving it with just a drizzle of milk or cream if you want to use cream. I tend to use milk for a lot of things. So we're going to put that in there. Lovely. Okay. And it probably makes, I'd say, 4 serves in my opinion.
It looks like it would be one you could easily double if you had a bigger family.
I think so. So just put that there, move it out of the road. I'm using my thermos over here to keep it nice and hot. So it'll stay hot for a few hours in this, which is fantastic. So I've got the soup there and I've got just a little bit of milk to drizzle over it. Just give it a little bit of a cute drizzle. Make it pretty. And more coriander.
Oh, no.
So, but I know, right, for those that really don't like coriander, this is not good.
Death to coriander.
Death to coriander, because there I am with even more coriander. Now you see lovely pictures of the dishes and all of that we make, of course, on all the pages that you've seen this class advertised on. This is very, very photogenic, so I'm not sure if I can actually really show you, but it's so orange. It's incredible.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
It's
really
incredibly
nice.
colored. Yeah, so lovely.
I like the way you've got the black bowl to match the black thermomix, Kelly.
Yeah, Kmart. Kmart was the way to go. So I've got the matching black bowl with the black Thermomix. Remember, everyone, it's the end of our pre-sale. So if you do want a black Thermomix, you need to bite the bullet or bite the biscuit, as they said, and get one now. So she's very, isn't she, Betty? So pretty.
Absolutely.
Now, Tracy, I'm going to do a jump around and then I'll show the pudding at the end.
Yeah, I was going to jump back to Kaz.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. Awesome. Because the pudding is here and it's hard not to eat it.
I've just pinned us all so everyone can see us. So, Carolyn, you're going to show us plating up the salmon?
Yeah. Here you are. I've got it here.
Oh, beautiful. So you could take that to a barbecue or anything, ready to go in your thermoserver.
And you know, it would make a meal in itself. It's got everything in there that you need. So it's a really well balanced meal. So
that's
yeah,
beautiful.
Really recommend it. It smells amazing.
Thank you. Did you just shred the salmon or chunk it?
Fork to pull it apart. And I didn't bother about removing the skin like it said. So I've removed it from the skin now that it's cooked, but not beforehand. Don't worry about that. Just it's easy to pull off when it's cooked.
Fantastic. And Sarah, how are your buns? You're on mute, sweetheart.
Done it again. Bloody hell. All right.
That's okay.
So I actually put in another batch a little bit earlier because the buns do take a little bit to rise. And like one of the people in the chat said a little bit earlier, we don't want them to be hard, so I'm going to give them some time before I put them in the oven. But here they are, the ones that are done. So they're looking really good, and I can really smell the cinnamon nutmeg. My house smells absolutely delicious at the moment. So just one step that I did in between was I actually created the syrup to put over the top in the Thermomix. And what I had to put in was the 40 grams of water and 40 grams of sugar, and then just mix that through and then lightly glazed the top of them while they were still warm. So they give it that really nice, shiny look. I can't wait to dig into one. I think I might even dig into one tonight. Put it in the toaster, and then might even put a little bit of extra chocolate through. I might put a little bit of Nutella in.
Oh my God, good on you. Now, there are gluten-free recipes around. There's a lovely recipe by a lady called Helen Volkatanis. If you just type in hot cross buns gluten-free, one of her recipes will come up. It's really, really good. So we had that question just before. Yeah.
No, I use lactose-free milk in mine as well, and they seem to have come out just as good. So
awesome.
I'll be sure to let you guys know. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Thank you. So Kelly's got the chocolate self-saucing pudding.
I've also used lactose-free milk in mine. I use it in everything. So generally turns out. Well, I've got my delicious pudding here that I grabbed out of the oven, so I can just touch it. It smells absolutely amazing. You've got the beautiful cakey pudding, and then you've got the really nice chocolatey sauce that it creates all around it too. So we'll grab a bit of that. So it's all, oh, yum. Now, as I said earlier, I tend to serve mine with some walnuts as well, but the other thing it needs, definitely get yourself some vanilla ice cream, or make some of the Killer Vanilla. I think that's a Tanina one, that one. That's one of my favourite. Yep. And put some ice cream with it too. Do it justice. I think something this chocolatey is fantastic with some ice cream. I'm going to use, this is another fun one as well, while we're talking about bits and pieces that we have from the mix shop and that you get your hands on. Consultant incentives. So we earn these. It's a toolkit. And it has the best scoop I've ever had for ice cream. It's a sorbet scoop, but it's metal, so it's really fantastic. You don't even have to soften it out of the freezer, and away you go. So I now have my dinner and dessert.
That's beautiful. Thank you. And check these out, people.
Oh, yum.
Yeah, they're amazing.
You got to make them. Oh, they look so good.
They're beautiful, bright, not too bright, but they've got real good colour, and you could definitely add chocolate, Sarah. So they're those.
Add chocolate.
Absolutely fantastic. So I hope everyone's enjoyed our class today. I can't stress how important it is to reach out to your consultant and book in that extra cooking experience for you to get another bowl. The discount you're going to receive is huge, and it's an opportunity not to be missed. Also, we have currently about 600, probably not even that many, black Thermomixes, limited edition. So if you're thinking about one, or you know someone who is, you need to get in tonight or very early in the morning. Please make sure you reach out to your consultant or add their name in the mix shop when you purchase. Do we have any questions at all? While we're just waiting for the screen to come up, I want to come back to that chicken stock. I made some the other day, and I thought I'm going to cost it, because I cost it every now and then, but I'm going to cost it. So I use chicken thigh a lot, and I'll cut off that little bit of fat and a bit of chicken at the end, and I weigh it, put it in snap lock bags, put it in the freezer. When I get 300 grams, that's my chicken stock. So it's actually not costing me anything, but I did put the chicken value into the costing. Now, for 500 grams of chicken stock paste, which is one batch, is equivalent to 10 litres. It will make you 10 litres of stock. at 70 cents per litre. Now, if you go and buy Campbell's litre, you're looking at $4.50, which is what, 8,000 times dearer. If you're going for a home brand, you're still looking at $1.90, and most of it is water. So that alone is the equivalent to a new Thermomix, basically, if you use chicken stock a lot or veggie stock. So the savings are absolutely amazing. So thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you, Sarah. We've got a few people making our dishes, which is absolutely fantastic. And we'll be sending those out on an email as well, so you can try them. Yeah. So the cake cookies, it's a question.
I just put the recipe there.
Oh, good. It's in the chat.
Yeah, just look up carrot cake cookies.
They're fantastic. They're so yummy.
They are. They're good.
I don't think I'll make them then.
No, they're not that bad for you. They're much healthier than carrot cake.
And they're not really sweet, but they're sweet enough.
Much better for you than eating a carrot cake.
Beautiful. Okay, thank you, everyone. See you.
See you guys. Thank you for jumping on.
Thanks, guys.
Happy thermomixing.
And I'm off to get some vanilla
The
ice
pudding
cream.
was chocolate self-saucing pudding. I think Sharon's going to make it now.
It takes about 40 minutes from the moment you get the ingredients out to be eating it. It's worth it.
Can you deliver some to my house, Kelly?
Did you see the run sheet? I actually requested that you pack up those meals and bring them to my house.
I did. I'll swap you.
She's making it now. Sharon's making it now. Hey, Oscar, what have you been cooking? Oscar, here's our mascot here. Add in. Here we go. How you going, buddy?
Oh,
And
How
Souls
are
have
you?
been training.
He's not in training. He knows so much.
he's our
Yeah.
youngest consultant.
He is.
Yeah.
Have you done hot cross buns, bud?
No, but I really want to try them.
Oh, can you send us a picture when you do?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome.
Are you
Well, you have a great night.
Oscar, why aren't you in bed yet?
I want to watch this.
It's more important things. This is learning, you see. He has to stay up and watch us.
Yeah.
You be a
Exactly.
good boy for your mum.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Have I-
sweetheart.
Have I
Bye-bye.
inspired you to make the pudding? I hope so. It's
Yeah.
yummy. Okay, see you guys.
See ya.
See ya.
Yeah.
I can't find everyone. Sarah Clark's there too. I haven't seen her for a long time. There she is. Hello, Seth.
You're eating my biscuits, Trace. You're supposed to pack them up and drive them over.
No. How are you, Sarah?
I'm good, Tracy. It's so lovely to see your face.
And you?
Yeah,
You doing well?
Yeah, not too bad. I've just finished work, so I have to thank you all for looking after my customers who came on tonight. I think I had 3 or 4 on, so just beautiful.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. That's what we're here
Yeah.
for. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much. Looked
Um,
like it was
Sarah.
really tasty. Yes.
When I'm able to drive in 2 weeks, I want
Yes.
to come down and have a coffee and catch up.
Oh, definitely. I know all the good gluten-free places too.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. See you. I'll stop
All right, you
recording now.
legend. Thank you all
Bye-bye.
so much. Bye.
Thanks, guys.